Thank y'all for tuning in. Happy Sunday. It's Sunday morning. If you can hear, I have the windows open in my house. The birds are chirping loud. And I'm about to go get my hair done and probably stop by the grocery store and get some groceries for the week. And then I'm going to come home, get in my bed. That's the plan. I'm going to come back home, get in my bed, and just binge watch some TV. Now, I have a smile on my face right now when I just said that. And it makes me happy. How can I do all of this on a Sunday? Because I'm a healthy empath. Are you a healthy empath or are you an unhealthy empath? Do you take on other people's problems? Because I know I don't. Okay? And it has been a game changer in my life. I once took on other people's problems. And I'm proud to say that today I don't have anyone else's problems in my lap or in my head or on my heart or on my conscience. And it is a great feeling. And I just want everyone who wants to, who strives to, who is willing to do the work to get like me. Am I a selfish person? Absolutely not. And only a manipulative user would refer to me as a selfish person. Now, you may say, but you said you don't take on other people's problems. Everybody need help sometime. And you're correct. You're correct. Everyone will come to a point in their life at some point where they may need some help. But I talk about frequently your people, okay? These are people who are in your circle, who you are loyal to. And if you're a healthy empath, it's a very small circle of family and friends because you vetted them and you've realized that everyone can't come along and be a part of your very small, intimate circle. It's true that the happiest people and the most honest people don't have a whole bunch of people who they're close to. Can't be close to everybody. So if you're helping the people who are your people, that is not another person's problem. I feel like my people are also my problem, if that makes any sense. For example, if you have a close friend who is going through an illness and they need help, okay? That's my friend. That's my sister or my brother, okay? I'm helping them out. Therefore, that is my problem, okay? Because I want the best for them. I want them to be happy, and I am taking on a part of that burden because, well, not burden, but I'm assisting them. I'm helping them get through life during this difficult time. I am doing what I know to be best, and I'm helping out when I can, trying to lift the burden from them. So those are my people. I'm not talking about your people because your people's problems are your problems. But I'm talking about those others, those people who you have one-sided relationships with. Those people who you support, but you don't get the same in return from them. What's going to help you is prioritizing reciprocity. And I can't sit here and count the people in your life. Maybe you're rare and blessed and you have 100 people in your life who you guys support each other, and you're super loyal to each other. I can't determine that. But what I'm saying is, in most cases, it's very rare that you have a whole lot of people who are your people that you can depend on. Okay, so enough of that. Prioritizing reciprocity is going to help you become a healthy empath by supporting who supports you and not sacrificing your needs for these people. Okay, your need to have peace, your need to have your own space, your need to be able to be you and not have to sacrifice or step outside of who you are to do something for them just because they fumbled. You want to gravitate towards people who just naturally have certain qualities about them. Now, me personally, I gravitate towards people who have self-awareness. That means that they are empaths too, at least for the most part, because that self-awareness, that's something that an empath inhabits, okay? They're not going to do anything to others that they wouldn't want done to them. They don't impose on people. They think before they act. They don't violate. That's what self-awareness is all about. So you're aware of yourself and you're aware of how you may be impacted by other people, so you don't do things that would offend other people on purpose. That's self-awareness. Let me give you a quick example. I had a coworker one time who had absolutely no self-awareness, and for some reason she was just super attracted to me. Not in a sexual way, but it might have been a sexual way now that I think back. But super attracted to me, meaning she always wanted to come talk to me. And I nicknamed her the close talker because she would step into my bubble and just be talking loud, spit flying. And then while she's talking to me, she's picking her teeth and plucking it. She's peeling off the skin on her nose and plucking it and grossing me the hell out. So the whole time she's talking and she's doing all this nasty stuff, I'm backing up, right? So I'm easing down the hall. And as I'm backing up, walking backwards, she's following me. She's coming closer and she's still talking. She's like, yeah, and going a mile a minute, and I can't get a word in. Not that I want to get a word in with this chick, but I'm just like, why does she keep talking to me? And, I'm nervously, smiling it off and like, yeah, okay, girl, okay. Like, clearly I didn't want to be bothered. And she did this. When she used to do this, I would stop her from her talking spell. And I would say, girl, can you, like, after she backed me down the hall, I'm like, whoa. And I said, girl, can you back up? Can you back up? Like, the second time she came talk to me, I put my arm out. And I said, can you just back up a little bit? Back up a little bit. Okay. And so she's still talking and she's coming close and I got my arm out. So I had to stop her one time and I said, everybody has a bubble. I said, can you please stop coming into my bubble? Because also she walked me around my desk one time. I stood up when she came in because one thing she used to do, she used to hover over me and she would get over me and talk. I don't like nobody talking over me, especially when you're doing nasty stuff like picking your nose. So I stood up when she came in the door and I was like, hey, what's up? Just like that. Like, my demeanor was not even welcoming to her. She still came in there telling me all her problems. So after she walked me around my desk, I was like, okay, you know what? I said, everybody has a bubble and you're violating mine. I said, you at least need to be an arm's length away from me. And in my mind, it's blowing my mind. I'm like, why do I have to tell a grown adult this? Like, you're not picking up on any social cues from my face. Like, okay, when you first did it, I nervously smiled. But by the second talk, I got a frown on my face. I'm not engaging with you. I'm not talking back. I'm backing away from you. You have no self-awareness. And I was like, please. And she did all that nasty picking her nose and picking her teeth and stuff in the hall. Okay, so now she's in my space by my desk doing that. I said, and please. I said, can you not pick your stuff around me? I said, girl, you picking your teeth. You picking your nose. It's like you putting a dry skin off another thing. You gonna pluck it in my... Please. No, please. So I had to stop her in the middle of what she was doing. And she was just laughing it off. Like, she thought it was funny. She was like, you're such a germaphobe. I'm like, no, I'm really that. Like, please. So by this time, I'm walking away. Anyway, people get a kick out of her stories when I was working there, because I would have one every day about how she still talked to me. And, I'm not a mean person, so I didn't say, please stop talking to me. I don't want to talk to you. I wasn't mean to her. I just would lock my door. I would do things like lock my door. And when I saw her coming, I would go the other way, even though she would call my name really loud. But my example, I know I've ran it on, but my example is that this chick had no self-awareness. She could never be my friend. And that's another thing. She always was like, well, you're my friend and you're my... And I'm like, she is delusional. I'm not your friend. Like, stop talking to me. But anyway, she was seriously not self-aware. I don't make friends with people who aren't self-aware. Like, you don't know that you picking your nose and plucking it as you're talking to somebody. Like, get out of here. Anyway, let me move on. I also gravitate towards people who naturally have morals. Like, they're just not cutthroat, because I don't roll like that. So why in the world would I roll with people who just don't care about anything or anybody else? Like, no. That's low vibrational. I gravitate towards people who have consideration about how things would make others feel. Would they want it done to them? And that's back to that whole self-awareness piece. I'm sure if I stood over this girl and dug in my nose, I am positive she wouldn't be okay with it. And now that I think back, maybe I should have done that. Maybe I should have said, okay, let me be you for today. And cut her off and say, hey, let's switch places. And I should have dug up my nose and plucked something right her way. Then I wonder what she would have done. I tend to gravitate towards people who have manners, because please and thank yous matter. Okay, I've experienced people who I have done great things for, like get them a gift or do something for them for their birthday or special events. And I could tell right off the bat that they were entitled. Like, they thinking to themselves, oh, bitch, you supposed to do this for me because I am the Queen Sheba. And you're absolutely not, because let me not get a thank you for something that I did for you, and that'll be the last daggone thing that I do for you, because I don't care what nobody says. Please and thank yous matter. And if you weren't taught that coming up, please hear that from me. Your please and your thank yous matter. And I always tell kids this. Kids are the only people who I give grace for that when they don't say please or thank you. I'll say, remember to say please, remember to say thank you. Make sure you thank people. Like, I tell the kids that I know, I'm like, make sure you say thank you, okay? Because people are not going to want to do nice things for you if you don't say thank you. And it's rude as hell not to say thank you. Like, somebody give you a whole gift and you just gonna say, nothing. Say nothing. Say nothing. How about that? You don't say nothing. And like, dang, did she like it? Did she even get it? Don't say you send a gift to someone by somebody. They don't acknowledge it. They don't call you. They don't text you and say thanks. It's like, dang, did you get it? You're like, yeah, I gave it to her. And you're like, dang, she rude. The last thing she gave from me. And again, like I always say, people know exactly what they're doing. So if they don't thank you, they don't have manners, they're just rude and entitled. They feel like they don't have to. Because why wouldn't you naturally be thankful for something that someone has done for you? Also, manners tie into saying excuse me. Like you bump somebody, yeah, you're supposed to say excuse me. You sneeze or cough, not really sneeze because people supposed to say bless you. But if you cough, cover your mouth. Ew. That's a whole nother rabbit hole I can go down. A lot of people were not taught that. I'll also tell kids, cover your mouth when you cough. Turn that way when you cough. Don't turn towards me and cough. Like that right there, that I can't take it. Can't take it. So I'm not gonna be around people who just be coughing and not covering their mouth. Nope, I won't go around you no more. So I gravitate towards people with those four things: self-awareness, morals, consideration, and manners. Why? Because I'm not sacrificing my needs. My needs are important too. I need you to mind your manners. I need you to be considerate. I need you to have morals about yourself. I need you to be fully self-aware, because certain things just rub me the wrong way, and I'm not going to stay around nobody and put up with that mess. If I see it, I'm out. Okay? And I'll never be around you again. And that's fine. That's fine. Some people might say, that's fine. I don't want to be around you anyway. Well, good. I don't want to be around you with your rude self, with your rude and nasty, trifling self. Okay? I'm going to be around people who do cover their mouths when they cough. They turn away from you when they cough and sneeze. Why? Because they have considerations. They don't want to get other people sick. And the first thing people want to say is, oh, it's just allergies. Well, guess what? That's still mucus and germs flying out your mouth towards me. I don't care if it is allergy. I don't want your bodily fluids on me, or in the air for that matter. But anyway, I digress. So, sacrificing needs. You don't need to be the trauma dumping friend all the time, okay? Venting is cool to a certain extent, but when it surpasses a certain extent, I advise people to get a life coach or get a therapist, because people don't want to constantly hear about it when you don't plan to make a change or do anything about it, okay? And when you're using your friends and family as free life coaches and free therapists, you're just wasting their time, because we already know that you don't plan to do the work or change anything about it, because you're not seeking out things like life coaches or therapists or professional help or, real solid advice. Oftentimes people just want to vent and complain and don't want to change a daggone thing. I'm going to give you a prime example. And I've said this in another one of my vlogcasts. Anyone who knows me knows that I love to eat and I love to hang out. I like to go out. I had a person who clung to me and just wanted to trauma dump on me and tell me all the bad things that was going on in her life, all the struggles and problems she was having. Of course, they were man problems. Always needed this, needed that, needed a ride, need to go here, need to do this. Always got car trouble, got this kind of trouble, this, that. Always brought her problems to me. And I just thought to myself, okay, she's just a crisis chick. Yeah, I had to distance myself from her because I'm not a crisis person. Again, I don't gravitate towards crisis people because I'm not a crisis person. So she thought she was going to attach to me. But the wake up call was, when I was thinking to myself, okay, maybe I shouldn't be mean, I'll distance myself. I won't cut her off, but I'll distance myself, because I'm not just all about that. And I think her life sucks. Like she's just always going through something. And that's got to be a sucky situation to be in, where your life sucks and you don't do nothing. Only for me to tune into Facebook and I see her out hanging out with people, having fun at a cabaret or some type of function. Not only that, she had a free ticket to this. And the people who she knew that was throwing it apparently told her that she could bring anybody she want and anybody can get in for free. So she didn't think about me when she went to that, because clearly I could have went, because how did I know this? Because I know those same people, and they told me, oh, you could have came along with her. I don't know why she ain't tell you about it, because I told her she could bring anybody she want for free. She ain't think about me when she was out having a good time. All she had to do was say, hey, did you want to go to this cabaret with me? And she knew I would have went. But no, she didn't think about me. She only thought about me when she was in need of dumping. And I'm not that girl. I'm not that person. Like, don't use me as a free dumping ground. And then I caught myself again. I said, here you go, feeling sorry for her, thinking her life sucks. But she knows how to have fun. She knows exactly what to do. That's why I will always stress people know exactly what they are doing. When you're an unhealthy empath, you're going to be seeing everything through the filter of love, because you're projecting just as everybody else is. So when you see things always through the filter of love, you feel guilty and you feel bad for people. Don't feel guilty for not seeing the bad in people. Don't feel guilty for that. You're projecting just as they are. But be woke. Wake up and know what's going on. Having confidence is key. Confident people establish boundaries so they're protected. That's all the boundaries are for. They're for self-protection. It stops things from entering your life that don't feel right. So be more intentional with establishing boundaries, what you don't like, what you don't want. Just like with that person, I said, I don't want her using me as somebody to use when she's down and out. So I stopped communicating with her. I didn't cut her completely off, but I knew what type of time she was on. She can't call me no more. She can text me and I'll get back to her when I get back to her. But I'm not here for that. You have to be more intentional with the memories you make. Again, I would rather have the memory of hanging out, partying, having a good time, line dancing, than I would have making the memory of sitting on the phone with you listening to all of your problems all of the time that you don't plan on changing. Okay? Life is short. I'm going to make the most of mine. I'm going to travel. I'm going to line dance because that's what I like to do. And I'm going to do all the other things that I want to do. I'm going to go out to eat. I'm going to listen to music. Like, I can listen to problems, but it has its time and place. You're not just going to dump on me when you feel like it. I'm out having a good time and you call in crisis, but that's all you calling me for. I already know, but you know what? You can feel that because you already know when your phone ring and you see that certain person's name, you're like, oh, Lord, what's she going through now? Trust that feeling. Go with that gut. Just stop communicating with that person like that, because some people cost too much. Some people cost too much. People like that cost you your peace and they cost you your goals. You can't finish working on your goals if you're always available for their drama, their issues, and their BS. Sometimes you just got to let that phone ring. You just got to let that text go through and respond a week later, because you already know what time they're on, if you respond at all. But don't be that in anybody's life. Why? Because they're going to keep using you and you're going to be that person that is for that. Okay? When they think about having a good time, they ain't going to think about you. They're going to think about somebody else who has boundaries and probably who don't have time to listen for them. So she like, okay, I know if I want to hang out with her, it's going to have to be something fun because she don't be answering her phone when I be calling her with my drama. And lastly, just to wrap this episode up, I want to say that happiness comes from within, but so does misery. So that's why you have to be careful not to bring it in. Don't bring in the misery. It is the secret, I think, to looking great. Okay? Because you have never, when I think about it, I have never seen a glowing, fit person who keeps a bunch of leeches around. Why? Because they always in the gym, taking care of their body. They're always meal prepping. Okay? A person, yeah, when I think about it, a person who has a bunch of users around them and who is an unhealthy empath and who takes on other people's problems. When I think about all the people that I know who are like that, they're out of shape and they don't look good. Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to think of one who is actually fly and has a nice body and glowing skin and keep their hair on point. Yeah, I can't think of one. You know why? Because they're putting all of their energy into other people who are sucking them dry. Don't be that. Y'all be safe.